Chicago. I'm going to walk through our little story about how we're using our chatbot. So a little bit about me. I work in IT. I'm associate vice president. You see all those nice big numbers. Really, all that means is I'm old. Doesn't mean anything more than that. Been around the block, used a lot of different sets of technology. I'm responsible for the big enterprise kind of changes that happen with technology at Loyola. So that's my my perspective. I'd like to give context to you about what Loyola is all about so you understand our story. So you'll see there our beautiful campus right on Lake Michigan. That's our core, our central campus. We're right around 17,000 students. We're a little under that, given that we are not doing face-to-face classes right now. But I did want to talk about our multi-campus environment. That picture you see there is our Lakeshore campus. About 7 miles away, we have Water Tower, which is our downtown campus. It's actually right adjacent to the beautiful symbolic Water Tower of Chicago. We have our Health Sciences campus, which is adjacent to our sister hospital. That's about 20 miles away. We also have a campus in Rome, which of course is thousands of miles away, and two other suburban campuses in Illinois. We have a Retreat and Ecology campus and the Cuneo Mansion and Gardens for adult education. All of those campuses are away from a lot of the central services. I just wanted to explain that so you understood the part of our problem was how do we service all of these campuses consistently? So how do you do it? Of course you have a bot, right? That's why we're all here. That's going to save and change our world, right? If you're maybe trying to market or sell services, you know, that's why a lot of people use bots. Sometimes people use bots because they have this very broad set of areas to cover, right? And they don't have enough people to handle those broad set of inquiries. Or maybe they have too many inquiries and they need to scale up and they need to touch more people. Or maybe, hey, is it cheaper? And we all know that it is cheaper, right? So these are standard kind of use cases for a chatbot, but this is blah, blah, blah marketing. So what we've done at Loyola is we said, okay, what is our real problem? What are we looking to address? So here were the key things that we were looking to fix with our chatbot. So first off is our advisor to student ratio is terrible. We had way too many advisors per student. So the students had all kinds of questions that they weren't getting answered. So we needed to help out both the advisors and the students from that perspective. We have a central hub that's available for students and student questions, student services, but there's always a long line at, quote, the hub, and it's actually called the hub. We needed to take care of that. We have this great desire from students that, hey, I'm going to do this stuff myself. You know, I want that self-service aspect of, I don't want to have to call and make an appointment, et cetera, et cetera. When I have time, I want to get my answer. And we all know with students, that could be the middle of the night, right? That's their uptime is in the middle of the night. 24/7, I just mentioned that. They don't want to go to, don't tell Oracle this, they don't want to go to the student system, right? Because it takes too long to log in and do this and find and go to the screen. They don't want to do that. They don't want to go to the websites that we've built that have all of our FAQs. It's just not their nature. They'd rather talk to a bot or chat with a bot than they would to actually log in and use the technology. We have a multi-language issue that we need to address. We have several folks where it's Spanish only, and we have a lot of Asian folks where Mandarin's important to us. So multi-languages was a gap at Loyola. And we really thought that, you know, we have very skilled people working with students. We'd prefer that they work on the harder stuff and leave the simpler things to the bot, right? So where there's more intelligence needed, more hand-holding, we wanted that to be done by the human. The last part there is we really thought this overall would boost our overall student experience. So that's kind of our gap or our needs list. So dun, 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 here it comes, right? Here comes our super bot. You see our bot there. He's got the little Loyola wolf on his chest. He's all excited to do all these great things like, oh, I want to look up some data for you, or how can you connect me with my advisor? You see the, Spanish on the bottom saying, hey, how's it going? And then what about these transactions on the right side? What about, I'd like to do something in PeopleSoft. I want a completed transaction. What are these? I want to run something in PeopleSoft. Can you help me with that? So we were like, yeah, we can, we're going to make our bot do all of these kind of great things. Oops, I went backwards. So it also happens that our idea about a chatbot fits right into our technology strategy for the university, which is called the Loyola Digital Experience. We are in the middle of phase 1. There's 3 of these phases or themes that we have to our digital experience. It's really geared towards flipping the way we handle technology with students and creating this great online technical experience for our students. We had to do some things in the number 1 that no one's ever going to ask for, under the covers kind of things. But where the bot fits in is right in the middle in this transformational kind of experience changes. You see artificial intelligence and machine learning. These are some of these innovative things that fit dead on into our strategy. So we were very excited that, we could move forward. We've never done a bot before, though. So the question was, how do you move forward? What do you do? I'm very much a crawl, walk, run kind of technology implementer. So, of course, we did a pilot. Our pilot was fairly structured. We knew it was going to fit right in. I talked about how it fits into that strategy that we have. We know we wanted to prove out and make sure, let's test this out. And if it works, then we can really roll it out even farther, even deeper. We knew we wanted to integrate with campus solutions. So we built a couple of our own skills with campus solutions so that we could, what the typical things are that our students ask. Of course, you can get your own, you can buy your own, but we built our own. We knew we were going to do this in an iterative kind of way. It's not a run it once and you're done. So, of course, on the right-hand side, you see the plan, do, check, act. It's this very common kind of cyclical kind of approach, and we use this approach in our pilot. The other thing we did that was very specific was we made sure we collected feedback as we went. So that user feedback was very important to us, and it helped us improve the bot as we went through the pilot. Then, of course, once the pilot was done, we were going to analyze and then make a recommendation, hopefully, to move forward. So simple, typical kind of pilot approach. Our audience. So it was definitely geared for the students, and we immediately tackled this problem with the advisors, right? I talked about that advisor to student ratio was way, way off. So we had some things built into the pilot that would not only help students, but would also help the advisor and the support services folks. We rolled it out on a very, very limited basis. And I'll talk a little bit more about the timeline and how we laid that out. So this is what our pilot looked like. I'm going to start on the left-hand side. And the first thing I'm going to say is we did not do this on our own. We went with one of the Oracle partners, Intrasy, who helped us with the pilot and help us understand ODA, how it works, what we can do with it, what our chatbot should do, shouldn't do. They really helped us scope things out and keep us on track. They were a great partner for us. As you can see, 16-week pilot. The first 4 weeks we spent on configuring and setting up the bot. That bot was rolled out in 3 different areas: student academic services, with the bursar, and with our help desk or our service desk. And we just created 85 intents, or 85 personalized answers for folks to respond to. So we did that first. We reviewed it and kind of tested that. Then we put that in QA, ran some more QA, and looked at those and refined it even a little more, as you can see with going in a circle, stretching. That wasn't me. Hopefully, whoever's falling down is okay. After QA, we then went into pilot mode. So you can see that pilot is 8 weeks. It's week 9 to 16.
Hang on, just a second. Hey, Nilesh, can you mute yourself? There's a lot of background noise there.
I hope he's okay. It sounded like there was a bit of a crash there. Anyway, thanks, Nilesh. So that pilot is 8 weeks. And we went through for 8 weeks. And again, in an iterative fashion, we monitored what the students were liking, not liking, what questions they were answering, what wasn't getting answered, and tweaked the bot as we went. So when we were done with the pilot, and of course there's a post-pilot phase where we actually did a little bit of review, and I'm going to talk about some of our results from our pilot. Wrong way. So the pilot feedback. So throughout that wave of the pilot, we had 1,100 sessions happen over those 8 weeks. For us, that was huge. For those of you that are already using bots, or schools that are experienced with bots, 1,100 sessions is nothing. That's a day's worth, right? Or a half a day's worth. But for us, this was a lot. We had a very nice 86% success rate. So we thought that was pretty good, with 91% positive feedback. You can see on the right-hand side how our conversations, how those sessions went, and some of the things that they asked about. What was very interesting that we didn't plan for was 10%, 9% there of the people asked about our buildings. They asked about locations of buildings, whether they were open or not, locations of things within buildings. We were very surprised by that, but that's why you do a pilot, right? The other things that were interesting is we had quite a bit of general questions that we didn't expect. Even though this was a pilot with hand-selected students, they still went off the script and asked things about how long are the dorms open for the dorms open for visitors? How early can I get breakfast in the morning? Those kind of things. It was very, very surprising to us. So I recommend just make sure you get that feedback loop so you can constantly improve your bot. With great numbers like this, of course, our pilot was approved, and the users wanted lots more than what we gave them in the pilot. So the next step, we've been live since January, and of course, March, here comes the COVID. So our numbers are nowhere near what we wanted them to be, and some of our rollout got slowed and stalled. But since then, we have gone from 86% to 89% success rate. So our success rate is going up. My understanding is some of the big bot engines that are out there don't even get into the 80s for success rate, and the Oracle ODAs, we're looking at mid to high 80s at Loyola. So we're very, very happy with that. We have a very dismal 220 conversations a month. I'm sure when Seneca shows those numbers, they'll be much bigger, much different. Of those 220, we're only doing a handful that are talking to Campus Solutions. Now, that's because we did zero marketing. This is people finding our bot on 3 web pages of 500 web pages we have right? They found it on 3. So we're satisfied with that. We know we could do lots better. We know we can do more, but we're pretty satisfied with those post-pilot numbers. So to talk more about those personalized questions, we have now gone from that 80 original up to 250, and that we're constantly building that. Every day we roll out more and more personalized questions. We have 15 specific things, and they're on the right-hand side here, that require you to log in and identify yourself so you can get personal information back. And those 3 that are bolded are actually will take information from the bot and will update PeopleSoft. So we've done full cycle there with some PeopleSoft updating, which we're very excited about, actually. So there are also a couple of questions in there that help that aren't just for the students, but also for the advisor as well. So you see a couple of those questions, show me person comment entries for a student. That's something that an advisor would want to see. So the advisor would log in and it would pull up their students' comments so they can prepare themselves for a discussion or something like that. So this is a mix of student and advisor questions here you're looking at. We're hoping, of course, this to go well beyond this initial 15. But again, we monitor what students ask. And when they ask things we can't answer, we prioritize it, put it on a list, code it, and put it in a release for the bot. So a few more numbers. Let's talk about some numbers. So I'm going to start on the upper left with the red-blue colors there. That was our usage. I said we're averaging about 220 or so a month. I think we average about 190 or so individuals having that 220 conversations. And you see that match fail is very, very small. If you go underneath that, lower left, is the actual match fail percentage. This is absolutely amazing. This is a combination of 2 factors. This is a combination of Loyola doing its check-in with people, how's it going, getting that feedback. And this is Oracle's latest release of ODA. We put it in the middle of May, and look at those numbers. That match fail went from the 30s down to single digits. That is absolutely amazing. So kudos to Oracle for changing their ODA and improving the back end of the tool set. It's really great. Big impact for Loyola here. Small numbers, I understand, but big impact for percentages. Multiply this for your large area, for your clients, your customers. You're still going to be those single digits. You'll just have bigger numbers. More details on the right about the chatbot answers and the kind of answers that it's doing. And as you can see, that small level in the yellow there are on the bottom right are those transactions that are specific to PeopleSoft. Just got a couple more slides and I'm going to turn it over. So we then took, and we know that this has institutional value. Instead of it costing us $4.25 to answer a question, and that's our internal calculated cost, your cost may be different, higher, maybe lower, but it costs Loyola $4.25 to answer a student's question. With the bot, it costs me 29 cents to answer a question. That is incredible value, especially if you really realize that now your smart people are doing bigger, harder things with students. You've just got more throughput and better service to your customers. We got our 24/7. We talked about we needed that, and we got that self-service. They just go to the bot to get their questions answered. They don't have to bounce around department to department to get all of their questions. They could just go to the bot. And you log in, it knows who you are, and it can answer questions for you. Like, what's my GPA? When's my next class? How many more credits before I graduate? Things like that. So I mentioned that they wanted more, and they do. So this is where we're at right now. We've completed several things. We're in the process right now of rolling. Louis is our bot's name. That's Louis on the right there. we're rolling Louis out on multiple web pages, and we are expanding our marketing on the bot itself. We've got 4 departments already lined up to do more on the book. So we're going to do these iterative rollouts over time. Advising is coming back for another set of improvements to what we did for them. So for us, this is super, super exciting. Last thing I'm going to do quick before I turn it over to Seneca is I'm going to show you just a couple of examples of what our bot can do. So here's a typical question. Hey, is the campus open? And the bot comes back and it talks about what's going on in the fall. We have a return to campus webpage that they can send them to for more information. And then we like this constant prompting where we'll come back and say, hey, would you like to see other information? You know, you asked a question related to student life, or maybe you want to know more about COVID, and there's a little menu there that they can click and get more information. So we do that with most of our answers. It's one of our approaches to how we've rolled out Louis. Here's another example. What can you tell me about COVID? So you can see it again, shoots them a link to the CDC's webpage, as well as links to our health and well-being pages, etc. A couple more examples. How can I switch to pass-fail? It says, hey, here's a form you can fill out and how you can work with your dean. Do you want to see anything else about grades? And then here's an example about graduation. So that's kind of what we did with our pilot. We're really excited about Chatbots with Oracle, and hopefully you got a little something out of our little story. So with that, I'm going to shoot it over to Seneca.
Great. Thanks, Jim. So,
yep.
Nilesh, I see you're back on. That's great.
Yes,
welcome back.
Yep.
So you guys can take over and go for it.
All right, then let me just get connected here. Upload the presentation. So 1 second.
Are you able to share your screen? Abby was having some trouble earlier. All right.
Okay. I know it was slower earlier today, so let's give it I did try it this morning earlier, so it usually comes up.
All right.
There we go. Awesome. All right. Sorry, put my mouse here. Okay. Oh, did it go away? Shoot. Try that again.
It was sharing fine just a minute ago. Abby, you want to give it a try again? Can you if you have a copy of the presentation, maybe you can share it?
Just give it a second. Yeah, I had clicked on the share twice, and that's why it got lost.
Oh, okay.
Just give it a second, and then it should come up.
There we go.
Okay, we're good now. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. Sorry for the technical delays on my part. My name is Nilesh Mistry, and my colleague Abhi Singh here, and we'll be discussing our journey and our success with the PeopleSoft Chatbot. So, brief introduction about myself. My name is Nilesh Mistry. I work for Seneca College, obviously. I've been in IT for close to 20 years. 8 years of that I've been working with PeopleSoft. My role at Seneca is I manage the team of application admins who take care of not only PeopleSoft, but also our Oracle infrastructure, our database backend, as well as various other endpoint integrations for our ERP systems with various other vendors, one being the ODA. Abhi?
Thank you, Nilesh. My name is Abhi Singh. I've been working in IT for the last 16 years, and all my experience has been working with PeopleSoft systems. I started as an HCM consultant and learned campus solutions through my years at Seneca, and now I'm managing the student systems at Seneca College. A little bit about us. We are Seneca College, and we are based in the Greater Toronto area. We have 10 campuses, and we are one of the biggest colleges here. Approximately 26,000 full-time students and 70,000 part-time students, out of which 4,700 are international students from 130 different countries. We are hosting 150 full-time programs, 140 part-time programs, 12 degrees. We are collaborating with more than 50 industry partners and are leaders in sending graduates to university through partnerships.
So a little bit about our backend infrastructure. So we are an Oracle shop. We have most of the flavors of PeopleSoft, Campus Solutions, Portal, HCM, Finance System. We're on People Tools 855 and 857. Also, our database backend is Oracle for our ERP systems, as well as some of our other applications that integrate into our ERP. We have a Exadata CC, which is Cloud at Customer Gen 2. We're one of the first institutes in Canada actually have this hardware. We just got it in late last year, and we implemented it early this year and migrated all our databases off of our old Exadata to this Cloud at Customer Gen 2 appliance. So just a brief summary of what we'll be going through today. We are, like I said, this is about our journey. So first, we'll talk about briefly before ODA, where we were at, why we chose to go to digital assistant. Once we got on that journey, the process from actually engaging our vendor, InterC in this case, and deploying into our system and going live with ODA as our chatbot. Then we'll have a demo, and then we'll talk about the future, our future with ODA. So before Oracle Digital Assistant, so in the beginning we had two audiences: our applicants and we had our students. Our applicants were potential students that wanted to come to Seneca. We needed to provide support for them. So we had the traditional support, which was FAQs on our website. We also had admission advisors and student ambassadors answering questions via email and phone calls. We also, in order to keep the engagement active with potential applicants, we also hired a third-party vendor to do 24/7 live chatting. And they would use a bank of FAQs and common questions to answer them during a 24/7 period, so that we keep students engaged and interested in Seneca. We also had our student support, so our existing students that needed support. We had our student help desk manned by many students over rotating shifts. We also had coordinators and advisors. So with that in mind, we wanted to look at Chatbot. Chatbot was a big thing about a year or so back, and we started looking at Lewis as a chatbot to support our applicant audience. So what we did is we went through a process of converting all our FAQs into intent and utterances. We created a custom application chatbot we call SAM, which we're using right now. We deployed this on our public website and mobile applications. We had a phased approach to launching this. We first started off doing introducing the chatbot after hours when our when our live support and our student support was not able to respond or was not working. Once we ran that through during the after hours, which was good for our international students who were in different time zones, we started introducing it during the day in a phased approach. First, we reduced the usage of our third-party live chat, and as it got more successful, as we built that chatbot into its utterances and the FAQs, then we actually ended the contract with the third-party vendor and went strictly with the live chatbot Lewis for our applicant audience, and this reduced in doing so, we went down to one person student ambassador who worked closely with the marketing team to review the utterances on a weekly basis to make sure that the chatbot stays up to date with the current questions that are coming through that system. So in the beginning, our accuracy rate was about 50%. And then after adding Google to the search criteria, it increased our accuracy rate by 90%.
So why ODA? As Nilesh described our scenario before ODA, when we were having a custom Lewis chatbot to manage our applicant population, there was a very evident need to support our students and advisors as well. At that time, we started discussing what is the best method to fulfill this need. We had a choice between re-engineering another Lewis bot or to go with an ODA partner. The factors that led us to decide between the ODA partner or Lewis were that we had the background knowledge of the chatbot technology, and we understood the complexity very well by that time. We also were aware the time and the resource commitment that would require to build a new bot from the scratch. And also because Oracle is our ERP system and it supports the integrations for transactional chat between ODA, it was an easier choice over Lewis. With that, when Intra-C came into picture, we thought that was a wonderful opportunity to tap into Intra-C's research work and collaboration with various organizations so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We wanted a solution that worked out of the box, that could be easily configured to accommodate any change. We could immediately adopt the benefits of the latest version of the Oracle Intelligent Bots framework without the need to manually rebuild anything. So the decision was very easy, and the choice was clear that we had to move ahead with ODA. We'll be taking you over our journey into ODA. There'll be slides coming up that will describe our timeline, how the roadmap looked like, how did our deployment look like, what was our initial scope, and how did the rollout happen, and then how are we maintaining the training.
Thank you, Abby.
I can't hear you, Nilesh.
It looks like Nilesh might be frozen.
Yeah, there seems to be some technical hiccup, so I'll just, oh, we lost the slides too.
Oh. Let's see if you can share yours.
Yeah. you able
All
to
right,
see?
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it now, Abby.
I shared the traditional way. I couldn't I couldn't figure out how to share inside the app. But is it is this visible?
Yeah, so if you go down, just put it in presentation mode down there at the bottom, and that should be fine.
Is
There
it
you go. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me know when Nilesh pops in, because I won't be able to see that. I'm not in the app anymore. So this is how our timeline and the roadmap looked like. It is a project which is scoped for a 5-month full rollout. We started somewhere beginning of March, where we had the kickoff and the requirements review, and then talked about how will the architecture look like. And then come April, we started with the configuration, which was more of the infrastructure on the infrastructure side. So deploy package and test environment, set up VPN tunnel, configure gateway setup, load content utterances, configure PeopleSoft skills. So I'll just give you a little bit of background, because we told you our story where we had Lewis supporting applicants. There were many questions which were asked by students to the chatbot, which the chatbot was not able to answer because those questions were not in the question bank. So those questions became our initial scope to be loaded to the new bot, to the ODA bot. Reason being, they were student specific, and we didn't really have to curate those questions. So those were our initial scope. And with that, we also chose particular PeopleSoft skills that we wanted to enable on the bot. There was a QA period, which was to provision and connect ODA to test environment, QA testing, and monitor the results and refine the digital assistant AI. So all of this was happening on the test environment. Once the testing, once this was set up and the testing was satisfactory, we went ahead with the production build, which happened in the beginning of May. And it was very interesting because we were also at this time going live with our Campus 9.2 upgrade. So our focus was not primarily on the bot build, it was happening on the side. But it was also a good opportunity because we wanted our bot to be built on the 9.2 and not on, before that. So we provisioned the production ODA instance, and at that time 9.2 upgrade also happened. We determined who our wave 1 audience would be, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later. And there was some sort of testing that happened on the Seneca side. Again, all our resources were primarily focused on 9.2 upgrade, so there was very little testing that happened during this time. In June, beginning of June, we were ready for our pilot, and once we had gone live with our 9.2, which happened mid of June, we actually went live with the bot on 22nd of July. So it took us some time from setting up the pilot and then going live on 22nd of July. So I talked about that there was a wave 1 that we chose, the population for the wave 1. We actually selected a few programs, and it was not marketed extensively because the college was busy with 9.2, COVID had hit, there were other priorities, a lot of resources were going into making everything online due to COVID. So this was not given the appropriate focus at that time. So we just, our director spoke to the chairs of specific programs, and that's how we chose the population for the pilot and went ahead with it. There was no marketing done. And that will be reflected in the numbers that we received from the pilot, and which we'll talk about a little bit later. So this slide talks about the deployment. It is the technical deployment. So package was provided by Intra-C, and there was a VPN tunnel setup between on-premise and OCI ODA. We configured the integration between PS and ODA, PeopleSoft and ODA, exchange node configuration via DMS export, and then implemented. This was implemented during our 9.2 upgrade development. Sorry, I'm just reading out some of these slides because they're technical and they were malicious, but hopefully
hey, Abby,
soon to answer the
Abby,
question.
just to let you know, Nilesh is back.
Okay.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me?
You guys want to talk about these slides? I just wanted to let you know, since you said you couldn't tell if he was back.
Yeah, Nilesh, if you want to talk about deployment, just to explain any points from here.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as Abby was saying, the deployment of the chatbot, the application, the setup was very seamless in terms of while we're doing our 9.2 upgrade, which is our primary focus. So we had a package that we just deployed. They were all bolt-on applications. There was only one custom object in PeopleSoft, which was to enable the chatbot. Other than that, everything was a bolt-on to implement it integrate into our environment. I worked with the technical resource on their side, I believe it was on Intrasea, which was Mark, and we talked about securing our connection as there's messages going back and forth between PeopleSoft and ODA. So we set up a VPN tunnel to ensure that
I think we've lost him again. Sorry. Yeah.
We lost him. I'll just move on.
Okay.
Maybe folks can reach out to him for questions on any of these slides. I'm sorry, I will not be able to explain the technicalities. This is another slide which is explaining the deployment architecture. I'll just move on. So defining the scope and the rollout strategy. Our scope was that we need to be able to access data securely, and the data should be only for the user that they have access to. The user should be able to perform self-service transactions. We should be able to integrate with current knowledge base via FAQ conversations, and we did not want to create a new knowledge base as well. And then the chatbot should be able to engage the user in small talk, and that should be configurable, which allows you to add or modify the small talk. And there should be a conversational survey, how did the bot do, so that we can receive feedback from the users. And the bot should also be able to recognize when to offer the option of reaching out to a person or a department or create a service ticket. So these were our basic requirements for the scope. And moving on. So when we worked in partnership with Intrasea, we were given an option to activate skills that will allow for transactional questions by students and advisors. So these are all the skills that we have chosen to activate. A student is able to change their address, change phone number, view the account balance, view grades, GPA, schedule, look at the advisors, view the holds, student number, and advisors are able to check their advisees, GPA, grades, holds, to-dos, contact information, emergency contacts, and advisees' graduation status. So these are all the PeopleSoft skills which have been activated. And apart from that, there is a conversational question bank, which includes 238 questions. So as I said, that we started with all the questions that we were not able to answer from the Lewis bot that formed our first set of question bank, and we are slowly adding to it now. We piloted in the beginning of, on July 22nd, but we really did not open it up to the students until beginning of August. So we are looking at a period of from beginning of August until mid-September. We had select programs which were open to 6,000 students. So that was our pilot population. We looked at the metrics at the end of the pilot, and the adoption rate came out to be 12%, which looked a little bit on the lower side, but then we did some research and found out that this is the industry standard, and it is a good number, and especially because there was no marketing done for our bot usage. We are at 84% of accuracy rate, and the feedback rating is 62%, which is with 731 unique users, we found out that only 87 chose to provide a feedback. So that's why we have a rating of 62% success feedback rating. But the 84% of accuracy match is actually a very good percentage, because we know that when we rolled out our first bot, we were in the 50% ballpark, and having 84% in the first month, we know that that is a significant number. If you look at this little chart over here, you'll find that when the bot has a confidence of medium confidence and above, it is actually giving us the 85%. And when it is having a confidence of 70 to 79, or even 70 to 79, it's giving a 50% accuracy result. That's when the bot is having some kind of disambiguity to answer. But then I'll show you some examples later on. Even when it is disambiguous, it is providing more than one questions, and it is fulfilling the user's requirement. It ends up asking the right questions to the user so that the user is getting the answer in the end. That's why the accuracy rate was 84%. So we finished the pilot, and now we have rolled out our second phase. We have now included one full faculty, which is amounting to 14,000 students. Our goal is to have the third phase completed by the end of the reading week, which will be sometime in November, which will be half of our population. And then before the Christmas break, we want to roll it out to the entire student population.
Hey, Abby, do you expect that, with COVID and a lot of people attending classes from home remotely, that the bots will be used more under these circumstances than they would be on campus, or is it about the same?
So the students are home at this time, and the bot is inside PeopleSoft. So and because there's not been any marketing done, the students they come to PeopleSoft normally to look at their grades, to look at the schedule, or to update their personal information. They spend most of their learning time inside Blackboard. So that's why we are seeing a little bit less usage, because there was no marketing done. But even if they were on campus, of course, if they were on campus, maybe we were able to market it better with some kind of communication happening over the campus. But right now, the only mode of communication is emails. So maybe the adoption might have been a little bit better if they were on campus, but in terms of where it is right now, it's inside PeopleSoft, which is not a system that is used by the students. As if you compare it with Blackboard, they're in Blackboard more than PeopleSoft.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this slide talks about the training that we are following to train the bot on a regular basis. This model was given to us by Intrasy. So that's the benefit of working with a partner that has done this over and over with other clients. So we didn't really have to come up with this, and it works really well. So over the period of Monday to Friday, we are looking at on a daily basis. We have tasks defined for our team that is supporting the bot. Every Monday, we are populating our test environment with the utterance report from production from the last week. And then Monday and Tuesday, Seneca works to rate the utterances, and we go by the lowest confidence questions. We go with those first. And Wednesday, Intrasy will review and approve them. Then if there is any, and Seneca will also make changes to the utterances on Wednesday. And then Thursday, if there is any issues after the rebuild and auto test run by Intrasy, then those questions can be looked at in the following week. And Friday, we do the migration and auto test in prod. So this is a cycle that we follow every week, and we have seen an increase in the rating after the tuning of the questions.
Hey, Abby, I just wanted to give you a time check. We've only got 4 minutes left, so just to let you know.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just go through these slides quickly. The following slides are the demo slides from our system. This one is a video, so I'll just run it quickly to give you an idea of what the bot looks like and the transactions. So here's a student asking the bot, can I change my number? And the bot is presenting what kind of number do you want to change? And confirming if there is an extension and getting a confirmation to end the transaction. And at the end, there is a satisfaction feedback, which is asked by the bot. And then a list of questions to continue. So this next slide is showing a few of the other examples of the transactions with the bot. The first one over here is showing the help menu. So if the student is typing help, the bot is giving different options for the conversation. The second one over here is a direct conversational question. So I'm a new student, what should I do? And the bot is providing the answer and giving a series of links and then asking the feedback if the bot if the question, if they would like to see more related questions. This one over here is asking for anything else that you can help up with. And then if did I meet your expectation? No. And then we ask, what is the problem that you're faced? And this one will actually take them to the related department, give the contact to the related department, or open up a service ticket. This question over here, the bot is not very confident and provides two related questions so that the student can make the choice. This example right here is the student asking a direct transactional question, what is my student number? And the bot is making the response. And this example over here, view my GPA, and the bot is giving options, which term do you want to see your GPA for, and then showing you that result. And this last one over here is an example of, can I see my schedule? And the bot is providing an outline of the schedule of the student. Taking us to the last slide. So our future with ODA, we plan to roll out to the entire college community by the end of the year. We're also looking at concierge ODA with Lewis so that we don't have to port all the questions from Lewis into ODA. The ODA will be able to talk to Lewis and provide the answer back so that we are not maintaining question bank in two different places. Channel support, this is something that we want to look into, opening up Alexa, Facebook, or other channels and support our current bot, and multiple language support. So answering the questions in the same language as the user has asked the question in. So this is these are our future ideas that we want to pursue with ODA. And that's all from my side. That brings us to the end of our journey. Thank you.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Abby. So I see we already have a few questions in the chat. We'd also encourage you to use the Q&A button up there on the right rather than the chat. But I see Jim has already answered quite a few questions. Does anybody have any questions for Abby? And if not right now, I realize we're at the top of the hour here, but you can also get in touch with any of us, of course, following the session. I haven't seen anything else come in.
Time for dinner and drinks.
I guess it must be. All right. Well, thanks to everybody in the audience for sticking around. This is the last session of the day. So as Jim said, go out and get something to eat and drink. And Jim and Abby, thank you very much for presenting. It was interesting and informational. And again, enjoy the rest of the conference, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.